the fuck is a Pro Soper? It's a good question. Well, that's exactly what we're going to discuss. So my new book is out, Pro Soper. It's available on Amazon.com and Kindle. So this is basically my autobiography about how I went from inline skating and to end up getting sponsored by Soap, going on tour with them, banging a bunch of hot high school girls, getting paid $200 an hour, getting free booze, free clothes, endless pairs of free shoes, getting in commercials that played in every Journeys and Pacific Sunwear across the planet, touring around the country and just sliding on handrails, getting paid for it. It's a really fun read. It's an autobiography written in the first person perspective. If I had to compare it to another type of story for you, it would be similar to Straight Outta Compton, The Wolf of Wall Street, Lords of Dogtown, or that book, The Dirt, by Neil Strauss and Motley Crue. It's got some really dope pictures from back in the day. Just living that Blade life, living that Soap life, just fucking selling weed, being gangster. And then the second part of the book, it goes into basically where I'm at now and what I'm doing in the present day. It's actually the exact same story as the one that's in Soap Shoes Secret Tips and Tricks, which is my other book. It's just that this one is an 8x10, it's in full color, and this book is actually 4 books in one. It also includes top 10 secret tips, and it also includes the full Trictionary, which is this book as well. For example, some people, they're not interested in like reading the story, they just want to know the tricks so they can go grind, so they can just pick up the Trictionary. And then other people, you know, they just want to hear the story, they don't care about all the technical stuff, so you can just pick up the book in black and white at a more affordable price. This one right here is much more expensive because it's bigger, it's full color. This is more for like, this is like a collector's item, if that makes sense. And I know that I had told you guys that I was making an audio book for it. I was in the studio for quite a few months. I was about 75% of the way done, and the computer hard drive crashed. So I'm gonna have to start from scratch on that. But I did go ahead and put a text-to-speech version up. The only thing that's kind of weird about that is that the computer that's reading it, sometimes it doesn't read the words the way they were supposed to be read. Like for example, the way Danny talks, he breaks words into like multiple syllables. Like instead of saying what, it would be like what? You know, if you call him up on the phone, it would be like, you'd be like, what's up, sucker? He'd be like, yo, what's up? And so when I'm writing the book, like you can see, I write the way that he talks. So you can see, what? If I was reading the book on the audio, then you'd be able to kind of hear the way that he really talks. When the computer is reading it, it sounds more like, wah ha 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 ha, Danny said. You know, so it's not the same. You kind of get it, but yeah, you know. But I definitely hope to get back in the studio soon and get that done, because that was already supposed to be out on Audible.com last year. I mean, I'd really like to get that out there. I'm hoping that that this gets in the hands of someone in Hollywood. Like this is a movie. This is literally a movie script. I mean, they made a movie called Lords of Dogtown, and it was amazing. It's like a cult classic. So why not a movie about soap shoes with a dope-ass story? So director Jason Clam has recently finished a movie called Lords of Soaptown, which I'm featured in. It's actually, it's on the silver screen. It's been playing at some of the indie film festivals in the Midwest, but it's a documentary type of movie, where what I'm talking about is a full-on movie. But anyway, what I really want to talk about on this vlog is the question that I get is, what is a Pro Soper? Like, how do you become a Pro Soper? I'm getting kids that are like 8, 10, 12 years old that are writing in now, since that book came out, saying, I want to be a Pro Soper when I grow up. But how do you do that if soap has been out of business since 2001? Well, I'm going to explain exactly how to do that. Now, the first thing that I want to make a point of is that I'm not a former Pro Soper. I am a Pro Soper to this day. Right now, as I'm talking to you, I'm a Pro Soper. I'm getting paid to soap. See, the word pro is simply a shortened version of the word professional. Now, what does professional mean? It means you get paid for what you do. For example, a doctor or a lawyer is a professional. Michael Jordan is a professional basketball player, a pro basketball player. For example, there's a lot of soapers out there that are just soapers. They're just having fun, sliding around in shoes. They have no responsibility. It's something they can do at their leisure. Being a pro soper is a much different mindset, a different way of being. Now again, there was a lot of soapers on the street, But when they went to go film these commercials that we did, we were getting paid and they were expecting us to perform. This means not show up to the shoot drunk or stoned or frying on fucking acid. This meant at 10 a.m. we're going to be shooting. We're going to pick you up, you know, at like 9:30, which means I have to be up, you know, by 6, 7 in the morning, drinking coffee, dressed, basically camera ready. And then these guys would have an idea, like, you know, they had this shot that they did with Brendan where he did a backside royale down a lifeguard tower. So they specifically said, we're going to do this shoot, you know, as the sun's setting. It has to be about like 5:47 or whatever. And so he had to show up to that shoot at that time. And they had already thought of, we want this type of angle. And they're expecting him to perform. Boom, first try, backside royale, the whole fucking tower. No, like, no going there and just kind of like goofing around and sliding around. No, we want a backside royale. It's going to be a silhouetted shot. It's going to be from this angle. And then the next shot, it's like, okay, we need a unity. We need a backside unity down this rail at Uni High School. Who's going to do that? Basically, they're setting up the camera. We want it in the morning, or it has to be like, because of the angle of that building, it will cast a shadow if it's past, you know, 12 noon. The sun needs to be like right overhead. You need to nail the shot first try. We can't sit there all day. And then after that, we're going to go, we want a front side down this double kink. So they had an agenda, and we were basically the talent. And we were getting paid to soap. Pro Sopers. Now, they would give us these free shoes, but it wasn't just like, okay, here's shoes, go grind. They also gave us what was called a soap journal. And this soap journal was like 5 pages of questions with like, how long did you wear your shoes today? What objects did you grind on? Did you get any diverse reactions from ongoers in the crowd? Or, you know, what was blah, blah, blah. Like, it was just like 5 pages of questions. And so every day, they give you a stack of these, of journal. Every time you go to the office, and like, I'd like a new pair of shoes. Say, okay, grab a pair of shoes. We grab a pair of shoes, and you have to take a stack of these soap journals, and you have to fill them out every day, and you turn in 7 journals every Wednesday. And then there'd be like a team meeting. They actually had this, they had a boardroom with a big screen TV, and if we brought new clips, or we talk about new ideas, and then they'd ask us, you know, what did you think of the plastic? How about these new shoes? These shoes are the Boltars, we're calling them. Or these shoes are the Boltars. Or these are the Cylons. And they'd say, like, what do you guys think about the color scheme? And, you know, we'd have to go over to Concept 21, and then we'd look at the blueprints and the diagrams and the molding, the plastic molding. So there was a lot more to it. You know, essentially what we were getting paid for. It wasn't just a free-for-all. It wasn't like, okay, here's your free shoes and your free clothes, now go about your business. It was like, there was a lot of aspects to the job. A lot of like, behind the scenes kind of shit. Now basically what happened is, I was already good at rollerblading. I was working towards becoming a sponsored rollerblader, so I was sending out videos to different skate companies. I sent a video out to Senate. I sent a video out to a company called Dysfunctional Threads, CDS, Grind Plates in Detroit, and a company called Realm. Now, I was already sponsored. I sent out a few videos before, and I ended up getting sponsored by something called, it was called Team Peanut and Team Circus. And they're just, you know, dudes that were making t-shirts and just trying to get their name out and start a company. And, you know, they want to be affiliated with rollerblading. Or they make skater type, you know, t-shirts with a logo or whatever. I picked up my very first sponsor, Play It Again Sports, after we'd been rollerblading for only like 3 or 4 months. Play It Again Sports had a little shop in Manhattan Beach on Sepulveda Boulevard. We came in with a VHS tape of us skating and told the guy at the desk, hey, like, we like your product. We want to rock your brand. Will you sponsor us? The guy put the video on right there on the spot. Was like, you guys are pretty good. Yeah. We'll sponsor you. Play It Again Sports started giving me and Danny free t-shirts. They paid for our grind plates. They got us new skate wheels. We didn't get cash from them, but that was a start. Like When I started skating, I was 16 years old, 1996. I don't know a lot of 16-year-olds that just have an extra $35 or $40 for fucking wheels or bearings. Those bearings are expensive. I came down off a grind and I cracked the chassis on my skates. Went into Play It Again Sports. Give me a brand new pair of skates. How did that happen? Just because we put ourselves out there. My sponsor video was dope. It was all synced up to music. I was doing drop unities and fish brains on 25-step handrails, misty flips, big twists, bio corkscrews, bio 540s, topside asses, the backside royale, alley-oop macchios, kind grinds. Like nowadays in 2015, like that would just kind of be like, that's like kind of basic shit. Like nowadays, it's like if you don't do 4 switch-ups on a rail, then it's like not even cool. But at the time, what I was doing in 1996, like that was dope. And Danny and I, we had a really big buzz going on too. That was kind of part of it. Like for example, we had at one time there was about 100 to 150 of us rollerbladers, and Danny and I were leading the whole thing. Our name started circulating like all over Los Angeles, and people that we didn't know, they started calling us up, and they're just like, "Hey, is this Ryan JAUNZEMIS? I found you in the yellow pages. You know, I heard you're a pro blader. Where are you guys skating today?" And that kind of stuff. And basically, Danny and I just started like telling all these people like, okay, the session's going to be at San Pedro High School this weekend, or this week it's going to be at Uni, this weekend it's going to be at Ethel Dwyer. Basically, that was like a small rollerblading army that was just like, there was like literally 150 of us fucking bladers like filling up the entire street, going all over San Pedro, going all over downtown Los Angeles. We'd be skating the Metro rails. There was like down at the Metro Green Line, Metro Blue Line, it was like 4 kink, a quadruple kink rail, and we'd be session at Pershing Square. I fish brained that whole rail. We were up at UCLA. There's a rail called, it's a kink rail. It's called the Blue Beast. Unity that. There's a rail called the 2020 at University High School. Unity that. Was busting misty flips down 8 stairs. Ocean Park in Santa Monica. Hit that rail. Kind grind, alley-oop macchio, fish brain, Unity to soul, did soul to switch soul, backslide, went to downtown LA, did an acid sidewalk through a double kink. We were busting out. Skating with a lot of pros. I met Arlo Eisenberg, Roadhouse, skated with Brian Bell and his crew at Uni. We used to skate with this one Filipino skater, Rainier, and this dude Tatsuya. Skated with Ryan Smith, Jay Dick from Hardline. Met Matt Andrews and El Segundo, who skated those rails. It was an adventure, man. Skating was life, and life was skating. Just grinding, getting baked, smoking fucking weed every day. And long story short, we ended up finding this ad for this company called Soap Shoes. Soap Shoes was basically this company that came out with these shoes with concaved plastic grind plates in the bottom, so you could slide on stuff. They're just skate shoes. No different than Etnies or Vans or any other type of skate shoe. It's just that they had this special feature. So it's like a novelty item. You know, it was actually made as a joke. They ended up making them so that, you know, rollerbladers and skateboarders could slide around at recess on little curbs when they didn't have their skateboard or their blades with them at school, because that would be stuck in your locker, right? Anyway, so in the beginning, I was just basically a rollerblader who ended up getting, I sent in my sponsor video to Soap, and they watched it, they liked it, said, we want to sign you on. Started giving me free shoes, free clothes, kind of like this shirt right here, you know, and they'd have us basically wear, it's like being a poster boy, you know. Now I was out rollerblading, but I had a Soap sweatshirt on that I was rocking. So I'm basically giving them free advertising. And then when I was sitting in class, I didn't have my skates on, I was wearing Soap shoes, which is totally cool because I got to be in class and I have these shoes with grind plates and everybody knows like that I'm a skater. Plus it was dope to be out, you know, sessioning and be a sponsored professional. Because now I'm not just some rollerblader, I was actually a pro rollerblader. Pro meaning that I was getting paid for it, because Soap was paying me money to wear their shoes and wear their gear. Now I'm not the only pro soaper. There was people that were pro soapers before me. Brendan Smith, he was the first one on the team, followed by my buddy Danny Lynch, Paul Cifuentes, then myself, later Eddie Ramirez, who was part of our skate crew as well. And we were the first 5 that made up the original soap team. Later they ended up signing some more people. Joey Barbera, a skateboarder named Chris Fox, another inliner named Tyler Wheatrich, and then the first pro female soaper, Sandy Murray. Now originally, the company had made these shoes. They're just, you know, skate shoes for skaters, for skateboarders and bladers. So this is a new pair, and you can see this grind plate is brand new. Okay, so and then they made replaceable plates so that, you know, kids could swap them out if they started getting scratched up. Now, as a rollerblader, when you grind down the side of your the chassis in the part of the skate where the wheels are at, it's like you grind down all the way into the boot, and you can start doing these more aggressive type movements. We call them royales and unities and that type of stuff. You can't necessarily do a cross-legged grind called a unity grind in brand new skates, because you would just slip out. You have to develop what's called a groove. So a few of us on the team, we started grinding down our shoes on a disc sander. It ends up getting this groove like this. And all of a sudden I could start doing these one-footed grinds, which is impossible to do on a new pair, because you would just end up slipping out. There's too much plastic there. As soon as you try to tilt your foot, you get what we call zing. It's just zing. You know, you just fall out of your lock-in position. But anyway, when that happened, when we developed these grooves and we started doing these huge rails, all of a sudden, soaping ceased to be an activity and ended up becoming a sport, and ultimately its own community. Once that happened, soap ended up hiring us on to do a commercial, and they were paying us $200 an hour. So basically, the first one we did was in 1997, which was the Soap Shoes International Sales commercial that ended up playing at all these trade shows all over the world. And so we went out shooting for like 6 hours. It was a $1,200 check. After taxes, it was like $1,000 showed up in my mailbox. And at 17 years old, to make $1,000 in a day, that's pretty dope, bro. And then we also did several other shoots after that as well. They also started doing photo shoots where they were putting us on posters. They put us on the covers of the boxes of shoes. And then later on after that, Soap did a tour around the country and later around the world. They actually ended up sending Brendan to France and a bunch of other countries throughout Europe as well. I was mostly traveling back and forth up and down the West Coast. I was in a relationship at the time, and I didn't want to be gone too long away from my girlfriend. They sent Danny and Paul all throughout the West Coast, Midwest, and it ended up becoming pretty huge. They had fashioned these vans, they call them the soap vans, and they had rails, detachable rails that came down from the roof so kids could slide on them. And they were paying us $500 a week plus $125 a day per diem to just travel around to these different trade shows and to different high schools. And basically we'd be doing these different shows every day. Some were small, some were just a couple hundred people. Some would be like at a high school during lunchtime. It would be like a little lunchtime demo. And some of these huge trade shows we did had 20 to 50,000 people. Now a lot of people just would think, oh, so they're just getting paid to slide around. And this is where it was like an actual job. We had to actually, wake up in the morning. We had to, come from our hotel. We would then we'd have to set up these booths, the soap booths. Have to set up the TV, plug it in, set up the audio, and then we'd have these this little practice rail, and then we'd have a bunch of shoes, all kinds of different styles of shoes, every size. And then basically the kids at the trade show, they'd come and they say, I want to try on a pair of size 5s. So we'd give them out a pair of size 5s. They'd check in, they'd sign in a guest book. We'd get collect emails. This is back in the day before there was internet. It was just basically AOL, online. AOL online was that was the pinnacle of technology at that time. And so we'd collect their emails and let them test out the shoes. The kids would get to try the shoes, slide around, do some front sides. We'd give out some free shoes sometimes. We'd give out, we'd throw out t-shirts, hats, stickers, lots of stickers, these kind of things. balloons. One of my favorite things on tour is the way that I would pick up girls is it was fun because there'd be these girls that would come to the shows and they'd need help sliding down the rail. So it would break that physical contact, and it's kind of like a student-teacher relationship. So we'd be hanging out with the girls, like helping them down at just different shows, and then I would have a pocket full of these stickers. Now I would get like 500 of these stickers, and I would take a little black Sharpie and I basically write my name and my pager number on the back. Back in the 90s, there was no such thing as cell phones. So I would just give them my pager number, and then these girls would just page me later on, and then I tell them, I call them back from the hotel room and say, we're at the Hyatt, we're in room whatever 304, come through, bring some friends, we've got plenty of beer. Now we were underage at the time, but we were making all this money called per diem. Per diem technically means per day, and they were giving us $125 a day per diem, and that's supposed to be for like your food, 3 meals a day, or you want a snack or something like that. We had these little cards, and they just would put the money on every day. But we would go to the ATM, draw out all the money, and then we'd find like, I don't know, a homeless dude and just say, hey, we'll give you 20 bucks and we want you to buy $100 worth of liquor at Rite Aid. Or, we find other people on the tour, like we toured with the people from Rollerblade. For example, there was this one lady who was a sales rep for Rollerblade, and she was on a bunch of the shows with us. We were in Rancho Cucamonga. We gave her our $250 a day per diem, and then she took us down to the liquor store and spent that $250. And we would just keep filling up the ice chest, keep filling up the van. Just fucking living like rock stars, bro, like gangsters. Smoking weed everywhere, trashing the fucking hotel rooms. I put the beds together so I could do fucking misty flips and we'd get all drunk and shit. Taking fucking acid and mushrooms. Then the shit got really crazy because in our off time, we'd start going to these raves. And Soap had developed these things, they're called Maxwell Plates. So when you step on the corner of a stair, sometimes you slip. And a lot of the schools started complaining. And they were starting to outlaw Soap shoes at a lot of the high schools in America. So Soap came up with these things called the Maxwell Plate. And you basically use your Soap key to unscrew the grind plate, and then you pop in this plate and it just makes them like regular tennis shoes. The thing is though that they're hollow. So me, being a fucking G, I'd be filling these up with fucking ecstasy pills, and I start sneaking them to the raves in fucking San Bernardino and downtown LA, and I never got caught. And I would just go sell e-pills for 20 bucks a pop. So I had my little side hustle going on, turning these Soap shoes into dope shoes. Now ultimately, near the end, I ended up getting fired from Soap. I ended up meeting this dude named Randy Spicer, who was sponsored by Senate, when we were sessioning down at like Ethel Dwyer Middle School or something that's in Huntington Beach. And basically, I was asking, I was like, what, are you guys like on a salary? I know you get, free skate wheels and Senate jeans and stuff. And he was like, oh, they pay us 6 figures. And I got kind of pissed off because I was like, wait a minute, like, by that time I'd broken 20 teeth. I broke my ankle, because you can wipe out fucking hard. It's, Soap, it's a good way to bust your balls. Anyway, I got pissed off for all the fucking blood, sweat, and broken bones and shit. And these people, this company was now worth over $20 million. And so, yeah, it's cool to make $1,000 a day. Okay, but basically when the CEO of this company has now pocketed $20 million, I felt like that we were being used. I felt that I was like, well, we really ain't making shit. $1,000 ain't shit. So I basically told him, like, we should have some kind of salary. We should be getting between $80,000 and $100,000 a year. I had almost flunked out of school. I barely fucking graduated by the seat of my baggy ass pants with a 1.3 GPA. My photography teacher, Mr. Carson, even gave me a F- in his class just to fuck with me. He got real pissed off, like, one day in the middle of class. I was already not doing the homework because I was spending all my time fucking soaping. Like, I was, when you turn 18, once you turn 18 in California, you can call in for yourself and say, as an adult, and say, I'm not going to go to school today. I'm sick. So on Mondays and Fridays, I started just calling in sick, and I would fucking go soaping for the whole 4-day weekend. I'd be out fucking 15, 20 hours a day, and then I'd sleep, and then I'd crash at a friend's house, and then I'd go soaping again, trying to, you know, just film more video and get good. I wasn't doing any of my homework. I'd be ditching class. I soaped his desk. You know, one day I was sitting in class and I'm like, fuck, I gotta grind something. Like, so I got up in the middle of the class and I just backside across the top of his desk. And he's like, what the, you know, and he'd throw me in detention. Me and all the other guys that fucking skated and soaped, we'd all be in detention every fucking morning, 7 a.m. And it was like, hey, we're, you know, back here again, running around, trashing the school, trashing the bathrooms. All my teachers fucking, they hated us. We would hawk loogies on the door handle, like right before the teacher would let us in, and the teacher would come, like, open the door, get fucking, you know, phlegm all over their hand, and, you know, they knew who did. And once again, it's like, oh, you know, it's fucking Ryan JAUNZEMIS, Jose Ruiz, Brian Perota, like, detention, all three of you, and all us other skaters. You know, I was sleeping in class because I was so fucking tired from being out soaping all night, or I was high. Anyway, I barely graduated. My mom was fucking pissed, and she's like, you know, complaining, you're never gonna get into college now. Like, I kept thinking, I'm not going to college. I don't have any plans to go to college. I'm gonna be a pro soper and make 6 figures a year. Anyway, this guy ended up hiring me on to work at the corporate office as a marketing assistant. By this time, I was 19 years old. I had a corner office, which was inside of the soap warehouse, which was this 80,000 square foot warehouse with thousands of pallets of shoes, and we had an indoor half pipe that was kind of right underneath my window. So, you know, during lunch break, I could go down there and skate the half pipe, busty fucking twists and shit like that. But they were only paying me fucking $8 an hour. I felt that I should be making a lot more than that for the effort that I was putting in. I was actually going and calling all these places, because soap was only advertising in things like Daily Bread magazine, which is a rollerblading magazine. And other than that, it was just, they were all about, we want soap to be word of mouth. We don't want to be mainstream. No big commercials. We want to keep it underground so it's cool. I'm like, the fuck is this word of mouth bullshit? Anyway, I had developed a marketing strategy that was going to turn soap's $20 million into $200 million literally overnight. They fucking laughed at me. I called a board meeting together and I gave them an entire fucking marketing scheme. They didn't take me serious. They just thought, like, oh, you're just some fucking kid with baggy pants who talks with an accent, who has long fucking hair with a mushroom cut. And anyway, they just continually kept saying, well, that's not how soap wants to be portrayed. You know, we don't want that type of image. I explained the whole marketing thing inside the book. I'm not going to get into all those technical shit right here. But anyway, they just didn't want that. And anyway, I kept fighting it. And me and the head dude, Chris Morris, like, we would just kind of butt heads. And one day I was just pissed off in the office, and I sent this email out to my homie Justin, and I was basically bitching, and I was like, fuck soap, man, fuck these motherfuckers, like, they're just using us. Like, they made us sign these model releases, so like they put our picture on the shoebox, and we got paid just one time for that. Well, meanwhile, they just keep making money off that. And basically, they used us. You know, we were just young kids, like young talent that was disposable. So I start writing Justin this letter. I'm like, fuck these motherfuckers. Like, maybe I should have just said fuck soap and kept rollerblading. Like, this is fucking bullshit. And I click send, but I was using the company's Outlook Express, and I didn't know how to use it. So when I hit send, it actually went reply to all, which means that it went to Justin, but it also went to my mom, it went to my brother, it went out to everyone in my fucking school, and then it also went out to Chris Morris. Oops. So anyway, about 15 minutes later, his secretary comes in, Erin Mills, and she's like, yeah, Chris got your email. And I'm like, what email? What are you talking about? And she's like, well, it doesn't seem like you're happy here, so you're free to go anytime. And I'm thinking, like, well, you're firing me? She's like, more like a layoff. I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. And I had just recently on a photo shoot, I was doing a Unity down a 20-step handrail, and I fell and I broke my ankle. Now, these motherfuckers kept saying, like, yeah, well, we could probably pay your medical bills. And I was waiting and waiting and waiting. And then I ended up paying that out of pocket. So I was in an orthopedic shoe for like 6 weeks. So when it comes back, I was like, so are you guys going to pay for that broken ankle? She's like, well, probably not, because you signed a model release, releasing all liability. And I'm thinking, like, what? Like, that was an on-the-job injury. Anyway, a bunch of bullshit happened. So I got fired or laid off. And shortly after that, the company, the guy Chris, he sold out, collected $20 million, and they closed the doors. Now, I was real pissed off at Chris for a long time, But and if you guys have seen my video, and I made this like threat at the end of it, but anyway, like that was, you know, that was 15 years ago. I don't care about it. It's just soapy water under the bridge, really. You know, it's like, it's all good. Like, sometimes I'd be watching that cracking up because I'm like, man, I was fucking heated, bro. But no, I ain't even tripping on that no more. I tried to put as much stuff as I could in the book. Now, for time constraints, I had to cut a lot of stuff out. And some stuff I had to leave out just because it was just straight up criminal. Like, straight up destruction of property, vandalism. There was some stuff when I was selling dope, fucking... there was some robberies and stuff that happened, and I had to... Now, I'm not going to talk about all the details on that because I'm not going to incriminate myself or any of the other people that were involved. There was some things on the road with some fucking groupies that that had to be left out because some of the people were, let's say, in relationships, and we wouldn't want to unveil things that were also going on simultaneously. So things like that had to be kept out. There was let's just say there was a lot more little side stories, and some people, they just didn't want to be mentioned in the book, so I had to write their character out, or I had to like create a composite character to take their place or the name. But of course, I try to keep it authentic as I could, because some people were saying like, did you like hype this book up? Like, did you just kind of like go over the top, you know, just for the benefit of entertainment or the book? And the truth is, it's really downplayed a lot. It was more wild than you can imagine. I'll just say that. But when you read it, you'll get the idea. But we'll see. Maybe if Hollywood ever buys the rights to it, then maybe you'll get to hear a little more of the story. I won't spoil it all. I'll read you like just a quick little paragraph from here. Welcome to Masterpiece Theater. It's a good picture of Justin in the convertible. Justin stole a bunch of his dad's CDs and DVDs and ordered a bunch of free CDs from Columbia House and BMG Music. At the time, Columbia House and BMG were offering 10 free CDs to anyone if they signed up to become part of their customer mailing list, to which Justin simply changed his name repeatedly on all of the forums and received literally hundreds of free CDs, and would then sell them all back to the warehouse, a music store, or Tower Records for cash. He had also recently broke into a neighbor's house, someone who we knew was slinging ecstasy pills, and found over $3,000 in cash in one of the top dresser drawers. After he pocketed the cash, he exited through the back window, came over to my house carrying up the stairs with him cases and cases of Budweiser beer and Mike's Hard Lemonade, a few 8-balls of cocaine, and cartons upon cartons of Marlboro cigarettes for each of us. He even called up Eddie and treated us all to hookers in a small shopping spree at the mall. It was good times. It goes on and on. Gangster shit. Soap life. In the second part, I talk about some deep shit, and then I talk about some deeper shit, how I went to jail, how I got banned from the United Kingdom, I talk about some suicide attempts. Hey, life is deep. Real shit. But anyway, back to the point of the vlog. You know, people are like, if soap's gone now, how are you still a pro soaper? I say, well, because I'm still getting paid for it. Now, I'm not technically sponsored by soap, you know. I'm now working with different companies. First of all, I'm a YouTube partner, so I'm getting paid off YouTube videos. That's just part of my income. I'm also signed to a company called CreateSpace, which is an independent publishing platform, and that's how I publish my books. I send in a manuscript, and then CreateSpace hosts it on Amazon.com, Kindle, and other social media. I also have several other books out as well. With YouTube, I don't get paid by the view. It's when those little ads pop up. If people click on the ads, then I get paid. The more videos I put out, the more potential revenue I can receive. Same thing goes with the books or any other publications that I put out. The more you put out, the more potential money I can get. The more stuff that you put out, the more chance of getting more money. Which is a trip, because what that means is even though there is no Soap the company, there's still a potential for an unlimited amount of income. See, anyone out there can be a pro soaper. You don't even technically have to be that good. You're considered a pro if you're getting paid for what you do. So if some kid out there goes on eBay and gets a pair of soap shoes and gets their video camera and makes a dope little video that happens to go viral, and they're a YouTube partner and filled out all the forums and all that kind of stuff, you could potentially be receiving checks for the rest of your life. You never know what could happen. Maybe Gatorade or Red Bull or Monster Energy drinks might see your video and be like, hey, this is cool. Like, let's get this guy on a commercial. You know those people that do the... A buddy of mine, he works in the Screen Actors Guild. And his friend did a commercial for McDonald's. And basically, he was the one who said, like, we love to see you smile. That one speaking line in that commercial, McDonald's paid him $7,000. You see where I'm going with this? Now, anyone can do this. Rollerblade, skateboarder, BMX, biker, Razor scooters, Heelys, like whatever you do in today's world, it's all about self-promotion. Everybody knows Tony Hawk, right? Household name, superstar, because he's got that video game. Now, did they decide to put Tony Hawk on a video game because of his skating skill? Or because he was putting himself out there and developed a rep? Think about it. Now, sure, he was signed to some other skate companies, but who's to say you can't do that as well? So yeah, there's no company, soap, to sign athletes to, but doesn't mean you can't just sign yourself and self-promote yourself on YouTube, or bring a little handrail to your school and fucking enter in a talent show. Now, I live in Las Vegas. The Strip is literally right out my front door. Sometimes when I feel like grinding, I just throw the hot rail in the car, roll down to Caesar's Palace, right out in front of the Forum Shops by the fountain. I'll set up the rail right there and just fucking grind it. Sell books out of my backpack like a crack on the street. Just fucking grinding. I'm a hustler. Making it happen. So whether I'm sponsored or not, I'm still pro. Anybody could do it. Anybody could be a Pro Soper. It's not hard. Put your video on YouTube, maybe it goes viral. You get more fucking views than me. Anybody could do it. Anyway, that's the main message. You know, pro is just short for professional. Professional means you get paid. That's it. Just get paid to do what you do. Now, my hustle, soaping is just part of my income. I got a lot of other products out there. Music, DVDs, other books. I do tattoos on the side, personal coaching. I got a weird job out here in Vegas, man. I teach guys how to pick up women. I take them out to the club and put like little lapel microphones on them, earbuds, and tell them what to say to pick up girls, how to stand, you know, be a man, take your hands out of your pockets. Basically teaching boys how to be men and how to live a lifestyle that's worthy of attracting beautiful women. So for me, like, soaping is just part of my income. $100 check from YouTube here, $100 check from CreateSpace there. It's cool because it's just, for me, it's just extra money. Like right now, these books they're just sitting online. So some kid in Croatia comes across my YouTube video. Oh, he's got a book? I'll pick up a copy. That looks interesting. Bam. The book's $14.95. I think it's on sale right now for $11.99. My royalty is $3 and some change off that. Amazon gets a cut. CreateSpace gets a cut. There's a cut for the production cost. There's some shipping and handling politics. But when someone buys that, $3 gets added to that account. $3 here, $3 there. Oh, my music CD, someone buys a copy of Poppin' in Motorola's, that's $1. So that stuff just stacks up. And then when it hits $100 threshold, I get a check in the mail. So that's cool. I mean, life is good. You know, I get more checks in the mail than bills. Not too many people can say that. I do a coaching client. That's minimum price is like $250 for 2 hours, or to work with me for like 8 hours is $2,500, which encompasses me like going to the dude's house and basically looking around the way he lives to find out like why is this guy not getting laid. So I look at his apartment, I observe your mannerisms and try to understand the psychology, like what's going on with this guy. Other pickup gurus, they give you these magic lines that's cool. They'll help you get a girl's number. You might get laid until she finds out that you're actually a piece of shit, and then she'll run for the hills. Whereas, you know, with me, it's more about overall type of lifestyle. So I try to like solve the problem with the guy at the basis. Which is a trip because a lot of people, they always asking like, I can't tell if he's faking. Like, is this cringe? Is this a parody? Like, what? No, I'm dead serious. I'm the #1 pickup artist in Las Vegas. I've had sex with over 200 girls. My stuff really works. A lot of people think it's like gimmicks or something like that. I don't do gimmicks. My techniques are backed up by science, so that my clients will attract women by mathematical certainty. I'm 100% serious when I say that, and I have a 100% success rate. Anyway, guys, it's been fun. I don't want to keep you all day. It's been fun talking about some good memories, you know, from back in the day. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give it a big thumbs up. Leave your comments in the box below. Love to hear your guys' thoughts. And if you like what I'm doing, then you should subscribe. Alright guys, peace out. Soap for life.
Oh yeah. Whoa! Holy crap, dude! You're going fast as hell.